morning. Saturday. Here we are. Um, End of the week. So that's something. I think it's going to be pretty nice weather. So that's good. Good morning, Dave and Deb and Ruth. Yeah, just kind of a regular day around here. I can't think of anything too exciting going on. Oh, I think we're going to go to the restaurant store today, which is very exciting. So if you've never been to the restaurant store, you should go. There's two restaurant stores that I know of in the Newcastle area. One of them requires like a business license and a membership. The other one does not. And I think it's literally called the restaurant store. It's on Route 9. So not too far from Garfield Park. If you just keep going up that road a little ways, you'll see it. It's a really big warehouse building. But it is really the greatest place to get anything for your kitchen. Things are about half what you would pay at a kitchen store, much better quality. It's kind of a big schnoodle, so you got to dig around, find stuff. But they're really helpful there. So if you know what you're looking for, and their website isn't bad. So if you go to the website, search for stuff that you're looking for, and then you know what it is exactly, they can help you find it. But we've gotten everything there from, glassware and dishes, that do not chip and are super sturdy. We've had them for years. And um, pots and pans and all of that. And then they also have a fair amount of food stuff. Like you'll find, big bags of flour and sugar, spices, all of that, some canned stuff, like giant cans of things. So if you're a person that likes to buy in bulk, this spring when we were having trouble finding things at Costco or even the grocery store, the restaurant store sometimes had them. So it's another option, another place to shop. And when in the spring, when everything was pretty well shut down, they were open. You could even like place an order online and then pick it up. So that was nice, even when people weren't allowed to sort of wander around in the store. But now I think you can go in and there's not a problem. So yeah, I recommend it. The other thing I recommend right around that area is Rose Hill Plantery. If you haven't been there, you probably, a lot of you guys live around Newcastle, so I'm sure you've heard of it or seen it. It's very nice. They don't have a huge selection, but what they have is really good. In fact, that just reminded me, I got to check my lemon tree. I put it in the garage for the winter, and I think I need to water it. It's been a while. But I got that a couple of years ago, and it's still going strong. We've got some lemons. It's not doing as well as I think it should, but that's on me because I don't really know what I'm doing. But it is still alive, which is more than I can say for many of the plants that come through my sphere of influence. I am not the best when it comes to gardening. Outdoor stuff is not too bad, but I think that's because, nature takes care of it, right? It's still not dependent on me. Anything that's in my house that is solely dependent on me, it's not going to do well, we have a very shaded, we're on the shady side of the street, not a lot of sun most of the time anyway. And then, yeah, I'm not good at remembering to water. So I don't know. I'm an outdoor plant person, I think, rather than indoor. But I would love to. I'd love to work on that. My grandmother and my sister are, they had wonderful gardens, indoor gardens, with all kinds of houseplants. And I was thinking about that when not that long ago, that I remember that there used to be, where in the town that I grew up, there was a houseplant store. There was literally a store that was just for houseplants. You don't see that anymore. I don't know where you get houseplants. I guess like Lowe's, that's about it. Um, maybe Rose Hill Plantery has some. But yeah, it was just a store in a house. It was just full of houseplants, which is pretty cool. All right, so yeah, let's move on. Um, okay, so we've talked about fairly recently. We talked about yamas and niyamas, um, and asana. Right, we do that every day or almost every day, and then the other one is pranayama. So we're circling around here the eight limbs of yoga, right? So Ashtanga, which is kind of the root of all of this vinyasa, all of this modern sort of yoga that we do, um, Ashtanga means eight limbs. And the idea that this yogic path is split into eight um, sort of sections, right? Um, I guess it's commonly I don't know. I've seen it, graphically. I've seen it depicted like a wheel, but that doesn't really make sense. So I think it's more like a tree, right? You got eight limbs on a tree. Um, so the first four, we've sort of touched on those, and the first four are the most tangible, right? They're things that we do. They're things that we can talk about pretty easily. They make sense. Not that the others don't make sense, but they're a little more, um, uh, you know, they're less tangible. Let's put it that way. They're about the mind and the soul, and just it's an internal structure. Whereas the other things are pretty external, right? They're physical. We've got the yamas and niyamas, right? Yamas are our external sort of rules, right? The way that we are treating other people, the way we're interacting with the world. Niyamas, internal, the way that we are sort of conducting ourself with ourself. Um, Asana, right? Pretty self-explanatory. So pranayama, that's the last of the first four. So pranayama is this work with the breath, and this idea that the breath is very precious, right? It's a very important, right? As important, maybe the most important part of that physical connection between the body and the higher self. It's the bridge, right, between those two. And um, the idea is that by using pranayama and breath techniques, we can do things. We can change things in the body. We can heat the body up, cool the body down. That's on the very, very surface level. On a deeper level, you can make some changes to the way the body is operating. Um, they've done studies, and we've had studies of these people who are, sort of deep meditators, and the pranayama work that they do can change their heart rate, can change their blood pressure, can change a lot of physical markers about what is happening in the body. I am not I'm not telling you we're going to get to that point, right? That's some pretty advanced stuff. But I'm saying that's where the possibility is, right? There is that type of power in this type of practice. Um, so if you're interested in that, there's a lot of information, that you can get into that's deeper than that. We're not going to go that deep, but um, it's important, right? We can notice that it's a very powerful tool, um, and something so small, like we barely even think about it. We're just breathing. We don't even have to do anything, and the body will just breathe for us. So, and I think I just completely lost my train of thought here. This doesn't happen very often. I was just thinking about something else. But yeah, pranayama, we want to focus on this. So, we work on the breath with the asana. So each part of the asana has a breath kind of associated with it, in and out. That's a form of pranayama, right? We're kind of controlling the breath in a way. Um, it's a very simple one, right? But it's a way of being aware and bringing your awareness to the breath, and that's one of the first parts of pranayama, is just being aware of the breath. Um, Another part of pranayama is being aware of how the breath changes, right? What you do during the day affects your breath, right? If you are very engaged in something, a lot of times our breath gets very shallow, right? We are otherwise occupied. So you may want to, take some deep breaths. If you've been working on something or really focusing on something, you want to take a breath, take a break. Um, if you are holding a lot of tension in the body, um, some people just do that on a regular basis, right? They just are tense. Or if you're in a tense situation, that can kind of prevent you from taking much in the way of breath. So again, at the end of your stressful situation, you want to take some breath. Um, and in our culture, even though, right, we don't really have um, information about pranayama, right? Um, this is very sort of not part of our frame of reference. This idea of the breath being um, a tool, but yet we do have, you know, recommendations, right? So, your grandmother probably told you, well, just sit down, take a few deep breaths, right? If you're angry or upset, count to 10, take some deep breaths. So there is some acknowledgement, right, that the breath can change how you're doing, right? You can, it goes back and forth, right? It's a symbiotic type thing. How your body's doing will change your breath, but again, you can change how your body's doing with the breath. And that's probably, the most valuable part of this, is this idea that we can make different things happen with our body by using the breath. And this is a whole study in and of itself. If you're interested in it, you can Google it, look it up. There are a lot of different practices. Some of them are, a little weird, little out there. Many of them are you're really cautioned to not get too deeply into it without some support and without like a good teacher. Um, Mainly like the breath retention things. So, trying to hold your breath for 5 minutes, things like that. It's not recommended that you just jump into that. Something you would work up to. But again, it's certainly not necessary. It's just kind of interesting if you want to learn about some of that stuff. Um, the idea of having these paths, these eight limbs, is that you can work on any one of those that you want to. You don't have to work on all of them at the same time. They may not all be appropriate to you at this time or at any particular time. You may just have awareness of them, right? You could literally go right through your yogic path just basically never doing pranayama, or just being kind of lightly aware of pranayama but not having it be a part of your practice. But on the other hand, that could be something that is of huge value to you, right? Um, but that's one of the reasons why we have all of these, right? There's 8. You can pick and choose which is the most valuable to you. But the first 4 are really the ones that prepare us for the last 4. So the first 4 are I would say, I mean, if you want to put a value on them, I would say they're the easiest ones, right? They're the most comprehensible. We understand them. They aren't necessarily easy, right? I mean, there's a lot about the yamas and niyamas that is not easy, but it's easy to understand. We get how to do it. We may not always do it correctly or want to do it, but we know what it is. The last 4, the dhyana, dharana, we're getting into meditation and mind focus and things like that, working toward, that goal of samadhi, just like that enlightenment. It gets a little heavier, right? A little more perplexing, maybe. But we're preparing ourselves. These 4 prepare us to kind of move on to the next. And without preparation with the 4, we're going to have a hard time, right? You're going to have a hard time. If you skip the first 4, just like anything else, right? If you skip the first 4 of anything and you try to jump ahead, you may have some troubles. So if you're interested, if you're just working on those first 4, then that's good. You don't have to worry about the other stuff just yet, maybe. Although, we may be touching our toe in it, right? This meditation and the concentration. It can take a very long time to make a lot of progress with that. But it's okay because there's no timeline for this, right? This is a lifelong practice. And as you get more skilled in some areas, then other areas open up. So pranayama, I just want to touch a little bit on just a really basic pranayama that we do in class a lot. And I know we've talked about it, I'm sure. Hopefully you were there the day we talked about it. If not, maybe you've been a little perplexed about what this is. So we talk about ujjayi breath, ujjayi, which means victorious breath or conquering breath. And this is the breath that we are using during practice, or we're supposed to be using during practice. But again, you'll come in and out of it. You won't always be in the ujjayi breath, but it's a nice basic breath to start with because it kind of slows everything down, makes you more aware of your breath. In through the nose, back out through the nose. The inhale is fairly standard. The exhale is a little different. So what we're doing with the exhale is there's a tightening. It's a slight tightening, kind of right around this sort of jaw area, but not clenching. I'm going to demonstrate kind of sort of a way to get into it. And it makes a little sound. It's an exhale with sound. And we're going to do it with the mouth open to start, just so you get a feel what it is. So we're inhaling through the nose, and then we're making like a ha, kind of a ha sound on the exhale. So Hear that? It's kind of a weird sound, kind of scary, right? It's like the mummy, maybe scary mummy sound. So we're inhaling. I've also heard people call it Darth Vader breath. I don't know. So inhaling and that hissing exhale. Now we're going to do the same thing, but I want you to close your mouth. So it's not coming out of your mouth, it's coming out of your nose, but you want the same feel in the body, right? So there is a little tightening in the throat, but it's very slight, just enough that you can kind of hear that sound. If you are not at all getting this, um, send me an email. We'll talk about it. Or look online. There are a lot of good videos, probably much better than what I just did, to help you get into this. And there are a lot of different ways of thinking about it. So there may be somebody out there who made a video that will click with you better than what I just did. It's great. Some things are more understandable than others. And sometimes what's one thing I love about, this availability of information is that sometimes what one person says, it doesn't make any sense at all. You'll hear it from the same words, but said in a slightly different way or a different format, and it will just all of a sudden click and you'll get it. So look around if you're not sure what it is. So let's do a little Ujjayi breathing, just sitting up tall, shoulders relaxed. Breathing in. Okay, so hopefully you got that. You're sort of good on the Ujjayi. If you if you've ever been in a yoga class and you've heard people making this sort of strange breathing, and I've had people mention that in class, like people breathing so loud, it's so that's normal, right? That's what people are doing. I mean, it's perfectly okay. The other thing is, and I forgot to mention this, is that pranayama, the idea of pranayama, it's not just breath control, breath retention, but it's the idea that using the breath in the proper way extends your life. How about that? Yeah. So using the breath judiciously, carefully, breathing in the correct way can extend your life, in theory. I mean, it can't hurt. So give it a try. All right, let's do a little asana while we're here. And, try the Ujjayi breath. See if you can work with that through some of the movements. Again, if you slip out of it, if you find it very distracting, I mean, one of the points of Ujjayi and pranayama in general is to keep you focused, right? When you're focusing on the breath, you can't be thinking about what you're going to have for lunch or what you need to be doing tomorrow. You're right here, right? The breath is now. It's happening at this moment. So if you find it's a little distracting to you, that might not be a bad thing, right? Focus on the breath instead of whatever else you might be thinking about. All right, so sitting tall, relax. And then chin down toward the chest. Let the head hang. And lift up. Lift the chin, head drops back. And then back to center. Take a breath in and then moving the head over to the right. Back to center, moving left. And back to center. Let's walk the hands out in front. Back up, hands behind. Squeeze the shoulders together. Gaze up. And then bring the arms wide. Deep breath in here and then exhale, hands together. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Interlace the fingers. Lift the hands. Gazing up. And then just bring the arms down by your side. Inhale, lifting. And lower. Once more, lifting up. And lower down. Lift the shoulders, roll back. And forward. Goalpost arms. Palms facing forward. Take a deep breath in. On the exhale, we're turning to the right. Back to center. Breath in. Turning left. Back to center. Let's bring the soles of the feet together. Sitting up tall. Deep breath in, and then lean forward. Back up. Both legs out in front. Let's point and flex the feet. Rotate one way and the other. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, folding forward. Coming back up, let's bring the legs wide. Sitting up tall. And then you can walk the hands out if you like, or out on the legs. Going as far as things feel okay, right? It's going to get tight through the thighs, inside of the knees. We're just moving into that space. Tightness is okay. Pain is not okay. Back up. Bring the legs closer, so maybe the width of your mat. We're going to walk the hands out, fold forward. Remember, we're hinging from the hip, right? So we want that nice flat back coming forward. We don't want to curve. Don't curve the back. Bring the chest forward. Breathe. And then back up. Let's bend the right knee. Press that foot in by the thigh. Turn your body so you're facing the left leg. Arms up overhead for a deep breath, and then fold forward. Walk your hands back up. Switch. So now we're facing that right leg. Deep breath in, fold forward. Walk the hands back up. Both legs out. Deep breath in, fold forward. Back up, bend the knees. Soles of the feet to the mat, or soles of the feet together. Again, sitting up tall. Lean forward. Let's see, maybe we can go a little further than we did the first time. Maybe not. It's okay. Coming back up, lift the knees. We can catch a hold of the toes or the feet. Leaning back. Catch your balance here, and then we're extending. You could go halfway or fully extend. Bend the knees, feet back down to the mat. We're going to bring the right leg underneath, left leg on top. Just kind of doing your best with this. If you don't get much of a crossover, if you're way up here, that's okay, right? We're just going to fold forward wherever you are. Deep breath and fold. You feel this stretch right along that outer hip. That might not be the only place, but that's one place. And then switching it around so that right leg is on top. Or, the opposite, whichever one you did before, the opposite for this one. Breath in and fold. Back up. Both legs straight out again. Deep breath in. Fold forward. And then coming back up, we can point and flex the feet again. Rotate. One way and the other. Bring the left hand to the outside of the right knee, right arm behind you. Sit up tall and twist. Back to center, switch, deep breath, twist. Back to center. Bend your knees. Make sure you've got some room behind you to lower down or rock back. Get comfortable here. Take a few breaths. You've got both feet on the mat. We're going to bring right ankle on top of the left knee. Either staying here and pressing this knee away from the body, or bringing the thigh in close. Keep breathing. You can extend that leg if you want. And then set the foot down, switch sides. Whatever we did on one side, we'll do on the next. Breathe. Maybe extending the leg. And then resting both feet back down on the mat. Setting up here for bridge. We'll do a regular bridge and then a supported bridge. So we've got a block. Keep it handy. Heels back close to the body. Hands by your side. And then we're pressing down, hands and feet, lifting up. Breathe. And lower down. Take a breath. And then find your block, lifting up again. This time, finding a comfortable place to set the block and resting back down. Whatever you want to do here, you can bring the knees in or extend the legs high. Whatever is your preference. I'm just going to stay still. And then lifting up. Remove your block. Rest back down on the mat. Soles of the feet together, knees apart. Relax. Feel the belly rise and fall. Letting the body relax. Knees back to center. Hug them into the chest. And rock a little side to side. And when you're ready, arms out to a T or goalpost arms. We're going to start lowering both knees over to the right. And then moving to center, then left. And then back to center. Let's extend the legs. Bring the arms out to a T, legs wider on the mat for five-pointed star. Relax and breathe. And then you can stay here to move into Shavasana, or if you want to bring your arms and your legs in a little bit to the more traditional way of doing it, that's fine. Take your pick and just relax, resting comfortably on the mat. Feel the breath moving through the body, in and out. With every breath, visualize peace and calm entering the body. And every exhale, just releasing anything in the body that you don't want, any tension or worry, negative thoughts. Let them pass away from the body. See the breath like the ocean, the waves coming in, smoothing out the sand, getting rid of any rough places, washing away anything left over, any debris on the shore. It just washes out to sea, letting go of the negative thoughts, the feelings, any anger or worry. Right? The breath is a fabulous tool for this. So moving again, fingers and toes, hands and feet. Getting some movement back in the body. You can make your way up to a seat. We're going to do meditation after this. So if you want to stay on the mat for that, you could. Right, that's an option. We're bringing hands together. Breath in and out. Thank you for taking time today for yoga, for sharing it with me. I hope you have a really good Saturday and rest of the weekend. Namaste. Thank you. I'm going to move right into meditation before we lose that peace and calm. So sitting up tall, relaxed breath. No reason to do pranayama here, but you could, if you wanted to, if it helps you keep focused, you could do some pranayama breathing. It's up to you. Close your eyes. Find that kind of gentle focus and breathe. Coming back to awareness. Breath in and breath out. Great. Hi, Sandra. Glad you could make it. Okay, so there you go. Meditation and some yoga. And you are ready for your rest of Saturday. I won't be here tomorrow. I'll be here Monday. Next week is Thanksgiving. I hope you're prepared for something. I don't know what. Some turkey maybe. I don't know. And yeah, enjoy your weekend.